Right, let's take a look here. We have spawning in the top position. It is going to be Yona playing for team 2legit2quit. And his opponent is going to be the red Zerg Elaser spawning in the bottom right position on King Sejong Station. Once again, this is a best of 3, so here we have Elaser.
Look at that sick game art feature we're using in this mirror matchup with both players, their units and buildings having stronger colors. So it will be easier to differentiate between the two players when their units are actually, well, quite literally entangled in combat. Because it can be really difficult to keep track of how many units are left for a certain player in a fight.
That's true. Now, as we mentioned before, this is the first ZVZ that we're casting today. We haven't had a ZVZ matchup in the longest time, come to think of it. Not even in the... Did we even have a ZVZ in the round of 16?
I'm not sure in the round of 16. Like, I think we had...
I'm not entirely sure, but... Let's see, here's the first breaking point in the builds for the two guys. And that's, do you go hatch first? Do you go pool first? It looks like both players deciding to go hatch first.
Wow, that's quite daring on the two-player map, especially if you haven't scouted your opponent yet.
If it was a different map, I would say yes, it is quite courageous. But this is King Sejong Station. Yeah. It's quite a long map. And you know, when you send out your first Overlord, you can kind of judge if your opponent is opening standard and he's not making 6 to 10 pool, which you skip the second Overlord if you do that. So if you see your opponent's second Overlord with your first scouting Overlord, you can safely say he's not doing an early pool. Mm-hmm. And this is a pretty long map, so I wouldn't say this is too much of a risk going for a hatchery first.
You can also pretty much tell he's not going for an early pool if you see a hatch when your Overlord floats into his natural.
Yeah, but by that time it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, that's kind of true. You're at the 3-minute mark or something like that. But yeah, the main difference here is that Yona is going for a gas and his opponent is not. So there's a couple of things that could be happening here. What usually happens if one player heavily delays their gas is that they go hatch first, of course, to start with. And then they wall off their natural with evolution chambers, essentially a spine, and usually the roach warren as well. And they add on a ton of queens to defend. Both players are getting double queen. So yeah, there's actually a lot of options here for both players. I do expect Yona to get the Zergling speed as soon as possible, though.
Yeah, we'll probably do that. But regarding the wall-offs, if you take a look at the natural base, it's a lot more difficult to wall this off. It's a very, very wide ramp. You pretty much have to do the wall-off between the ramp leading into your main base and the gas geyser. And you have to have that gas geyser taken pretty much. And even then you have to put a spine crawler next to the extractor to make a full wall-off. So, you know, if somebody is attacking you with roaches, they are actually in range of the spine crawlers and the hatchery and the drones. So such a defense is really not as effective. Yona does get the speed, as you mentioned before, and gets rid of a few of the scouting links sent by Elaser.
Yeah, and Elaser has now opted to get double extractors at his natural. I really like this decision, not only because it isn't being scouted, like Yona still has no idea as to how many gases Elaser is actually on, but it also gives him a quite heavy gas income. He can still sort of catch up, but I think he'll have to just pretty much go straight into roaches. You know, he has 3 queens at the front, and it's pretty much time to build some evolution chambers at this point. No links being made though for Yona. He's just grabbing map control a bit, but just he's playing economically as well.
Yeah, he does like that. And as we say that, playing economically, he does get a third base very, very quickly there. And it's immediately scouted. So, you know what? I do see the evolution chamber going down for Elaser. I'm kind of waiting for him to build the roach warren. As I say it, he drops it down. And he should follow that up with +1 attack. And immediately after that, he should queue up the lair.
This is
and if he does that, I think he's going to go for a 2-base roach timing against that third base, and maybe take a third base of his own behind that as he's doing it.
What I was gonna say is that move by Yona was perfect. He scouted everything Elaser was doing. He saw the double gas at the natural, saw that there was no gas in the main, meaning that Lair or Hive Tech is, Spire Tech is highly unlikely. He also saw the Roach Warren, meaning that this will be a Roach Warren timing. There's a couple of links on the way for a laser, which is good, but once the laser gets a critical mass of roaches, Jona's gonna have to fend it off, and therefore I find the choice to get a Baneling Nest a bit strange. I don't really get it. I really want to pick his brain about that later on.
Yeah, well, maybe the Baneling Nest is defensive. Maybe he just wants to go for a huge bust. I wonder where are those two Banelings morphing. I think those are defensive Banelings that he's... No, those are offensive Banelings, actually.
Yeah, but there's no way these are going to accomplish any... Oh, is he just going to bait him up the ramp? Oh, come on, he gets a lot of links there, actually. So that was a nice bait by Jona. Has to split up his links in order to defend.
17 links, that's a huge trade for one Baneling.
Yeah. What's also a bit of an issue though here, I feel, is that Jona, he's getting his own Roach Warren. No upgrades yet. He's getting a lot of links. But Laser is already working on his Roach army. And now Jona is forced to defend and will probably be making even more links to defend here.
You know what the thing is, that Elaser, he should have queued up the Lair straight after he queued up the +1, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it, and as a result, Jona is actually ahead in the Lair timing compared to his opponent.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually massively ahead in his lair when compared to that. Jona, because of this, will have quicker roach speed. His attack upgrade will be slower. Oh, actually sick corner here with on these roaches. So many roaches are actually getting picked off. And at that stage, that's actually really critical because he needs a bit of a critical mass against links with roaches.
You know what, I think this is just too many links here. For Jona.
He has no Baneling.
If he makes a couple of Banelings, he can actually... Oh, there they are. He can actually go forward because... No, that's too many roaches.
Yeah.
Those fresh ones that just now popped up, that's going to drive Jona back a little bit.
This is quite annoying for Elaser. Like, he broke down his own back rocks, which allows easier access to his opponent's third base, and he's going to attack from that. But it also allows Jona to counterattack more quickly. He's going to spot the roaches marching across the map. Looking at Jona's own army, he is making roaches, but there is by far not enough. Well, he's got 6, he's making more, so he could just be fine. Yeah, these roaches are actually... This is where the speed difference pays off, by the way.
Yeah.
If Elaser had roach speed by now, he could have been on top of his opponent's third already.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought he was going for, but he just kind of forgot the lair. The good thing he's got going for, however, for him, is that he already has the Hydrogen finished. So he can start adding on a bit more DPS to his army. He is behind on the overall army supply, however.
Links around the back, holding the army in place. And the laser, his roaches are just getting destroyed. Massive supply lead now for Jona, and I wonder if he's not just going to go for a counter attack here.
I think he should. He can even pick off even more units along the way. And I think at this point, Elaser knows that, oops, I lost the entirety of my army. I don't know if I'm going to be able to defend. And in the very least, Jona can now go and pick off the third base. I don't think Elaser will have enough. But here is where the map comes into play. The thing is that this map is so long, the distance between the thirds, for example, is so big. Even if something like this happens, by the time Jona reaches the third, Elaser should have just enough roaches and defenses there to defend and keep that alive.
Jona has 42 roaches against 23 of Elaser. If he can just get that all together, and of course defensive advantage plays a massive role here, he can get a very good fight here. He's behind on queens though. There will be queens here to defend and transfuse. And there's also a +2 timing about to hit here for Elaser. So Elaser, he can hold on, but it's not going to be easy by far.
Yeah, I think Jona is just going to look at this. He's just producing roaches non-stop. He's getting tunneling claws as well with the burrow upgrade, so he will be able to burrow those roaches and move them away. He also has a couple of queens with him for transfusions, I think. So this is going to be a pretty good engagement for Jona. The supplies are very, very, very close, though.
Yeah, he's let Elaser catch back up in supply, and now he needs to realize that he's actually down in upgrades. +2 still not finished. He is getting +1 armor though, and some of his roaches are actually getting caught out on the map.
Yeah, but he's getting a 4th base as well, which you know, is again getting ahead in terms of economy and production compared to his opponent. And a small squad of saboteurs here being split between the natural and the main base. The roaches are going to be set up, and I don't think he'll be unburrowing them just now. Well, now he will be when his fourth is under attack, so
and
that's a good
meanwhile,
diversion.
I was going to say Yono needs to be actually fighting at the front as well in order to make this optimally effective. And as a gift to him, Laser simply moves into his own army, so now the roaches in the mineral lines are actually doing quite a lot of damage.
Oh, look at that huge concave here for Yona as he's driving the army back. Couple of roaches being picked off there. And now it is Yona who can just continue on with the pressure, as Elazer's economy has been heavily disrupted right now.
Oh, and now only half of the army of Elazer is in the natural wall. Well, Yona's entire roach force is simply busting his way through here.
This is going to be a GG gets called. Elazer realizing correctly that this was a situation he could not get out of.
That was amazing play by Yona, really. Especially the multi-pronged attack with the roaches at the end. It seems so basic on a certain level. When you look at it, he just played that so well.